Welcome to the Fantasy Addiction Network. Today we are talking Week 15 game preview for the Broncos at Chiefs. Right now the Vegas over-under for this game is 45.5, and the Chiefs are favored to win this one pretty handily. Right now their implied point total is about 28 to 18. A little surprised by that one, especially considering how well Drew Lock has played. I do think the Chiefs win this game, but I'm not expecting this game to be as much of a blowout as Vegas is expecting right now. I think the Broncos hang with the Chiefs in this one, and I think that bodes well for the fantasy options in this game. So we'll start with the Broncos side. Kansas City is number 12 in points allowed to the quarterback, so close to the middle, but a little better on the good side for quarterback production. And Drew Lock is still in this, what I call the other team has little film on me window. Typically when rookie quarterbacks come and start playing in the middle of the season and they have success, a lot of that typically has to do with the fact that opposing teams don't have any game film on them yet with their team, so they're struggling to try to figure out how to stop them, and that typically lasts for about 4 weeks until defenses can catch up. So we're still in that window right now. I think Drew Lock continues to have success against this team that isn't that good against the pass. So overall, I think Drew Lock is a decent start in this one. Looking at the running back side of the ball, Kansas City is still number 2 in fantasy points allowed against the running back. So they've been a little bit better in the last 2 weeks, but overall throughout the season we've seen that they've been pretty bad. Yes, I believe Clark is the reason why they've been better in the past 2 weeks, but Phillip Lindsay is a good start this week because he not only gets you volume in the running game, but also has decent amount of targets each week, and I think he's likely to have another touchdown in this one. He would have had 2 touchdowns on Sunday, but he had a touchdown called back on a stupid penalty that didn't impact the play. So I think Lindsay is another great start this week. I'm not starting Freeman. He did get a junk touchdown last week, but you can't ever predict when that's going to happen. If he doesn't get a touchdown, he's not worth playing, but I'm starting Lindsay with confidence. The receiver side of the ball, this is the one spot that Kansas City is actually surprisingly good against. They're number 31 in points allowed to the wide receiver. I featured Sutton in my sits this week because I don't have enough of a sample size with Lock yet to know who his favorite target is. 2 weeks ago, it was all Sutton, and last week it was barely any Sutton. So if you have Sutton, it's hard to bench him because you know what he's been doing all year, but I think this is a week that you can consider benching him. He's not a must-sit by any means, but there are less risky options likely on the waiver wire this week that I'd rather start, and we can continue to collect data as we go on. Now, where Kansas City is also really bad in is points against the tight end. They're number 6 in tight end points allowed, so this one is another one that's dependent on whether or not an injury designation is there, but I think Noah Fant, if he plays this week, is a tremendous play. He looked explosive last week against Houston, and I think this is another good matchup for him to do well. Look for that rapport to continue between Drew Lock and Noah Fant this week. On the defensive side of the ball, Denver D has been pretty up and down, but it's very hard to trust them in Kansas City versus Patrick Mahomes in a important game for the Chiefs. They're still trying to battle to potentially get that bye week. I think that this is a bad week to play Denver D. All right, let's look at the Chiefs side of the ball. So Mahomes has been somewhat of a disappointment, honestly, since he's come back from injury. Other than the game against Tennessee, he hasn't really done too much for your fantasy team. This is a matchup at home in a game that I expect to be closer than the implied total indicates. So I think this is a likely get-right game for Mahomes. If you have Mahomes, you're likely not benching him anyway, so I'm just giving you a vote of confidence. You can definitely start him. Denver D has allowed a top 10 quarterback in 3 of their last 4 games. Look for that trend to continue. On the running back side, Denver's actually pretty good against the run. It looks like Damien Williams might be back this week. We don't know yet at this point. He did come back to practice yesterday, but we'll see how much he practices going forward. If Damien is back, I think he's worth a flex. If he's not, though, I'm still not trusting either McCoy or Darwin Thompson. Playing against a tougher run defense in a game that will likely require Mahomes to throw the ball more. I like Damien because of his potential in the passing game, but if he's not playing, I don't think that the two-headed monster of McCoy and Darwin, along with Spencer Ware getting mixed in, is something you want to bet on. All right, looking at the receiver side, Denver is pretty strong against the receiver, but they've been kind of bad in the past 5 weeks, so they've been on the decline overall. And with Tyreek Hill, you're going to start him with confidence this week. He did okay against New England last week, and Denver is not New England. I think Tyreek Hill has an explosive game this week and will help carry you to your championship. And then Mecole Hardman is another interesting name here. I think in DFS especially, you can always play him in hopes that he gets you a large touchdown. We saw DeAndre Hopkins go off for a huge bomb last week. I think Mecole Hardman could likely do the same thing, blow the top off the defense and get a big score. Just know that he has the potential to give you an absolute dud. So you're probably not starting him unless you just need a Hail Mary play. From the tight end perspective, of course, you're starting Travis Kelce. He's phenomenal. He's about to set a record, I believe, for the first tight end to have 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons. So Kelce is a great start in this one. And then some experts are really liking Kansas City defense versus Locke this week at home, but I think Locke looks legit. I've already mentioned to you why I think Locke is actually a decent play this week. And I think this game ends up being closer than expected, so I'm trying to avoid playing either defense in this game. Anyway, I hope you guys found this helpful. This time of the year can be very busy for a lot of you, and I hope that I can help you guys come to peace with the choices you have to make for this week. And we hope you have good luck, make it to your fantasy championship. Please like and subscribe to this video for more content, and we'll see you in the next one.